Boxing is without a doubt one of the most dramatic sports in the realm of high-stakes drama. The tension is heightened when two divisive individuals are engaged in combat. Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach's live news conference was a great example of this. As usual, fans anticipated the standard pre-fight drama, including some trash talk, possibly a violent altercation, and of course, the customary build-up to fight night. However, what they saw at this press conference was utter mayhem and anything but normal. Lamont Roach went above and above what is considered standard banter. Roach suddenly shoved Tank Davis, who was standing across from him, calm and collected as usual. As Tank staggered back, the audience gasped, but the action didn't stop there. The shove was merely the catalyst for a full-scale altercation. Damage had already been done when security hurried in to break up the fight. The entire story of this fight changed in that instant. In addition to getting inside Tank's head, Roach had done something unexpected by making the world take notice of him as a serious competitor. Tension between the two had been rising for weeks before this altercation. No one anticipated that the long-simmering enmity between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach would explode in such a spectacular way. The unbeaten knockout champion, Tank Davis, arrived at the press conference with his customary poise. He was aware of his strength and talent in the ring. He could put an end to any altercation with a single blow. Tank remained steadfast in the face of Roach, who had been establishing himself as a formidable opponent. Roach was there to demonstrate that he could take everything from Tank, not just to show up. It was evident that Roach was not intimidated. He was aware of all the skepticism and criticism surrounding this battle, including those who questioned his readiness for the major leagues and his capacity to defeat a fighter such as Tank Davis. However, Roach accepted the challenge rather than running from it. His goal was to establish himself as a credible opponent, not only to earn money. Roach was candid throughout the press conference, declaring that he was prepared to demonstrate to the world what happens when two dogs square off in the ring. He called out Tank. There was no doubt in his mind that he would gain the victory. Roach's statements made it obvious that he was determined rather than scared. The two boxers' face-off was set up as the press conference went on. As Tank and Roach stood inches apart, their eyes meeting in what was supposed to be a struggle of wills, the tension was evident. Tank seemed calm and collected as usual. Although his smirk indicated that he was unconcerned, Roach was determined to make this confrontation more than a routine one. Tank staggered backwards as Roach suddenly shoved him. Everyone was taken aback by this approach. All the peace and poise Tank had accumulated over the years seemed to vanish at that instant. Tank burst into tears for the first time in a long time. With his fists flying, he pushed forward, and security had to intervene quickly to break up the altercation. Nobody anticipated the champion would react this way. Known for his cold personality, Tank appeared shaken, and it was obvious that Roach's shove had hurt his feelings. Why Roach pushed Tank was now the question. Was it a premeditated action or a spontaneous reaction? Roach's thrust, according to some onlookers, was a calculated attempt to enter Tank's head. In and out of the ring, Tank Davis had established a reputation for being the aggressive one. He enjoyed having command of the situation, and Roach's action reversed that. Roach made Tank have an emotional reaction by pushing him first. This was a mental game as much as a physical push. Tank was forced to react after Roach put him in a precarious situation, which made the unbeaten champion look weak. Nevertheless, Tank was not one to overlook this. The outburst at the press conference was evidence that his emotions were running high. Tank has a reputation for being composed under duress for years. Face-offs, trash talk, or the intensity of a fight had never affected his ability to remain composed. However, something was different this time. Tank wasn't going to overlook Roach's actions since they had touched a chord. He rushed forward, swinging, and several security personnel had to hold him back. Fans had never seen this side of Tank before. This, to those who had followed his career, was not like the champion. Tank has always been the cool-headed, self-assured, and methodical combatant. He didn't let feelings control him. But now that Roach had made a strategic move, Tank was in the thick of things. Tank made it plain that he would not tolerate this disrespect as the fight went on. He was prepared to battle Roach, and nothing would prevent him from exacting his retribution. Many people had previously thought of Lamont Roach as merely another opponent for Tank Davis, a stop along the way to bigger things. The majority of observers and supporters didn't think Roach had much of a chance against the defending champion. But following this press conference, the fight story started to change. Previously viewed as an underdog, Roach suddenly seemed unafraid. In addition to surviving, he had sparked a response by taking on one of boxing's most dangerous punchers. No one was unaware of the significance of this shift in perspective. As he proceeded to speak, Roach's confidence became clear. He declared his conviction that he was the greatest and that he possessed the skills necessary to defeat Tank in the ring. Roach was speaking of dominating rather than merely winning. He was prepared to show the world that he was a competitor who could defeat anyone, including the tough Tank Davis, and that he was more than just a fighter. Floyd Mayweather's involvement added even more intrigue to this already dramatic affair. Floyd was formerly Tank Davis's mentor, but their relationship had deteriorated over time, resulting in a public backlash. Mind games had taken on a new dimension. Given Floyd's presence in Roach's camp, some questioned whether Roach's push was a component of a bigger plan that included controlling Tank's emotions to distract him. Tank and Floyd Mayweather have a convoluted and lengthy past. Early in his career, he had assisted in guiding him, setting him up for success and turning him into a multimillionaire. But since then, the two had split up, and their hostility still persisted. Floyd's intervention in Roach's favor merely fueled the flames. Could Floyd's strategies have affected Roach's behavior during the news conference? Was this merely another move in Floyd and Tank's continuing game of mental chess? The boxing community is now wondering if this matchup is truly what fans want to see as Tank and Roach's battle approaches. It is anticipated that Tank Davis, who declared 2025 to be his last year of boxing, will face well-known opponents in his final run. However, he will be competing against Lamont Roach, a talented fighter who lacks the star power of some of the big stars in the division, rather than another elite opponent. Tank's final bouts could not be against the biggest stars in the sport, which has disappointed many fans. Given the presence of competitors like Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, and Shakur Stevenson, it seems possible that Tank is leaving some of the greatest hurdles for his legacy. Despite being a talented boxer, Lamont Roach's name doesn't have the same prestige as some of these other competitors. Many people think that before Tank retires, he must take on these more difficult tasks in order to solidify his legacy. Many people believe that Tank should go on one of the best fighters, Shakur Stevenson in particular. On social media, the two have been back and forth, criticizing one another and raising doubts on one another's fortitude. Fans have been demanding this fight for years, and because Tank's career is coming to an end, this might be the final chance to witness it happen. Tank's abilities might be put to the test by Shakur Stevenson, an unbeaten champion with a defensive style. It is a bout that could rank among the most significant in recent boxing history. Will Tank, however, take the field? The strain is intensifying, and fans are becoming more impatient. Tank's legacy might not measure up to the high standards that many hold him to if he keeps picking and choosing opponents like Roach. Fans obviously want to see him take against the greatest, including warriors like Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Instead of opponents who have already been dismissed by most of the boxing community, these are the kinds of opponents who will shape his career. The issue still stands as Tank nears the end of his career. Will he step up to the plate and take on the hardest fights, or will he keep taking safe fights that leave fans wanting more? One thing is certain, the drama surrounding his career is far from ended. Only time will tell. Tank Davis's legacy is at stake, and the entire world is watching. Right now, everyone is focused on Tank and Roach's impending battle. Will Tank remind everyone why he is one of the world's most dangerous fighters, or will Roach continue to astound the world? The stakes have never been higher, no matter what.